Welcome. Are you sitting comfortably? Are you focused and not thinking about whatever's bothering you these days?
Hi guys, January is always a slow month for gaming, but some great indie games got released in January 2021. Here's I Love Indie's top 10 to check out now. To start off the top 10, we have something rather unique. This is Sunlight, a short, meditative first-person walking simulator from the creators of Among the Sleep and Mosaic. It's a really gorgeous game. The visuals were all hand-painted with a quill, which makes it really feel like you're exploring a three-dimensional painting. The game lasts less than an hour, but it really does showcase how games can be classed as works of art. If you like games like Flower or Mountain, please give Sunlight a try. It's short and sweet, but well worth the asking price. Check it out now on Steam.
Landscape of my skin, the prickling soon slipped my attention.
From the shadows came a strange creature whose only intention was destruction. The sacred engine was broken, and all life on the fish was in danger. Someone had to fix it before it was too late.
At 9 we have TOHU. It's a gorgeous point-and-click adventure clearly inspired by Amanita design games such as Machinarium and Creeks. TOHU really is as weird as it gets. You live in a world of fish planets and have a mechanical alter ego called QUIETUS. Sounds cool, doesn't it? If you like imaginative puzzles, gorgeous graphics and fantastic tales, TOHU is definitely a game for you. It's out now on PC via Steam, as well as all the usual consoles. Up next we've got Ancient Abyss, a game released in early access on Steam in January. The developers have described it as a Zelda-like action-adventure game with roguelike elements. I think that's a fair description. I'd probably throw in Hyper Light Drifter as well because it does look and feel a little bit like that classic indie. In the game you explore a mysterious world in a randomly generated maze. The game looks wonderful and combat is really satisfying even in this early access stage. However, there are problems with the English translation of the game. The developers have accepted this and they are working to fix it, and several updates, patches have already been released. Yet despite its flaws and lack of overall polish, I really feel Ancient Abyss deserves your time. This is definitely one to keep an eye on. It's going to release on all major consoles at some point in 2021, so look out for it then.
Do osha banesh, molda branos lin libo, jus osamanos.
Next we've got Gods Will Fall. This is an action adventure that plays a little bit like a typical dungeon crawler, but it has roguelike elements. You play as a group of 8 survivors washed up on a mysterious island. You've got to enter 10 dungeons and defeat the bosses at the end of them to escape. Permadeath features heavily here. Heroes can be killed in a single blow, and some may end up getting trapped in the dungeons forever. Lose all 8 of your warriors before defeating the 10 gods and it's game over. You'll have to restart from the beginning with a new set of heroes. The difficulty of the dungeons will be randomised, as will the enemies you face. The only thing that stays the same is the layout of the level and the bosses at the end. All of this makes Gods Will Fall an enjoyable yet challenging adventure. Check it out now on PC and all major consoles. And now, as they say, for something completely different. Here we have Pocket Watch, a game released on the 9th of January on Steam. It's developed by Sockpop Collective, a group who have been releasing 2 bite-sized indie games a month for the last couple of years. If you've never come across Sockpop before, Google them, check out the website and see some of the other amazing games. This one is very reminiscent of Zelda and the Majora's Mask. It's a time-travelling adventure on a tropical island. You play as a duck who can turn back time with a pocket watch you win in an auction. You talk to animals, you solve puzzles, you learn the patterns, and then you hopefully will save the island from destruction. There's 3 to 5 hours content here. The game's dirt cheap on Steam and itch.io and will run on even the most basic of PCs, so you've no excuse not to get this one. If you like quirky indies like Fez, you must pick up Pocket Watch as soon as you can. Originally released in August of last year on the Nintendo Switch, PHOENOTOPIA Awakening has now got its release on PC via Steam. It's a beautiful action RPG clearly inspired by Zelda games of the past, particularly the 8 and 16-bit eras. You play as Gale and it's your job to save the Earth after a great ship appears in the night sky and abducts all the adults. It sounds very reminiscent to Lord of the Flies to me. The game is chock full of content with a campaign lasting over 30 hours and there's more there if you want to see and do everything. If you need a game to warm your heart in these dark and cold times, give PHOENOTOPIA Awakening a try. Another roguelike to make it onto this list is SKUL the Hero Slayer. It's a 2D pixel art platforming action adventure. You play as SKUL on a quest to save the Demon Lord from the Imperial Knights, which is quite a novel twist on the typical tale. The game was originally released last year in early access, but in January it got its 1.0 release. There's plenty of content here to keep you coming back for more, including over 100 SKUL heads to collect, each one changing the appearance and moveset of the protagonist, SKUL. It looks good, it plays beautifully, and it's currently available on Steam, but due out later in the year on all major consoles. One of the great things about Steam is that games often get released into early access. Here's another example at 3, LILIES and Quietus of the Night. It's a Metroidvania inspired by recent indie hits such as Hollow Knight, Salt and Sanctuary and Vigil the Longest Night. If you like any of those 3, then you need to check this one out. You play as Lily in a world corrupted by a deathly rain that has reanimated corpses. You've got to restore order. The main draw of this game though is the ability to imbue yourself with the power of the bosses you defeat. Their freed spirits become your allies and can be equipped through the menu, providing a highly customizable loadout system. The game currently features 3 to 5 hours of content, and the developers will be updating the game regularly and plan to release it on all consoles later in the year. It's already super polished and really worth the asking price, so please head over to Steam and check this one out now. It's likely that the next 2 games will feature in many critics' end-of-year best-of lists. This is Devolver Digital's first indie title of 2021, and it's OLIJA, an action platformer about a man trapped in the mysterious country of Terraforge. You play as Faraday and discover a legendary harpoon that allows you to transport yourself around rooms as you try to find other castaways and return to your homeland. OLIJA is incredibly cinematic with some gorgeous cutscenes. The soundtrack is suitably atmospheric. The game itself isn't the longest, it clocks in at around 5 hours, but that shouldn't put you off as this one will definitely leave its mark. OLIJA is available now on PC via Steam and all major consoles. Perhaps the biggest release of January was Cyber Shadow, a game published by Yacht Club Games. The guy's famous for Shovel Knight, and it has a similar aesthetic. It's a beautiful pixel art 2D side-scrolling platforming adventure reminiscent of NES era classics such as Ninja Gaiden and Mega Man. If you like those, you're going to love this, and if you want a sense of nostalgia, just pick this one up. Cutscenes tell the story of a world corrupted and taken over by robots. It's your job as Shadow to save the day. This one really feels great to play. The chiptune music suits the graphics perfectly, and the light Metroidvania elements add to the replay value. Be prepared though, Cyber Shadow is tough, just like those classics already mentioned. There's no hand-holding here, you'll die, and you will die a lot. The spectacular boss fights will require some patience, perseverance and much strategizing if you are to succeed. It's a game that any indie game fan needs to play, and for that reason it's I Love Indie's #1 indie game of January 2021. If you like what you've seen today, please subscribe to the I Love Indies channel to keep up to date with all the latest uploaded reviews, previews and top 10 lists. Until next time guys, keep loving indies.